Hey buddy, hope you're traveling well. If you've been following the Uttarakhand vlog previously, that playlist was just a teaser to this one. Most of the places in this playlist are the ones that we'll be covering in the next 20 odd episodes. Most don't know that they exist, and a majority of them are possibly a first in an Indian English channel. I spent like 2 months shooting these footages in Uttarakhand. Fine. Every year, tens of thousands of people cross Joshimath to get to Badrinath, but anyone hardly gets to the other side of it, the Dauliganga Valley. A lot of people call it the Niti Valley, but any valley is named after the river that runs through it, not the village that rests on its bank. So it is Dauliganga Valley indeed. It is widely believed that Gangotri is the source of the Ganges, the lifeline of the country. Nevertheless, being the farthest tributary, the Dauliganga is arguably the source of Ganges. From Joshimath, Malari is just about 62 kilometers, and it is pretty much the gateway to the unexplored territory that Uttarakhand holds. It holds the mightiest peaks, including the Nanda Devi and the Dronagiri, not to mention a dozen other peaks, all of them above 6,000 meters or 20,000 feet high. At about 20 kilometers from Joshimath, just past Tapovan, you will see a geothermal sulfur spring. It is located on the roadside, so you don't have to trek anywhere. Geothermal springs are common and scattered all over the Himalayas. The most famous ones are the ones in Badrinath, Tapovan near Shimla, and Manikaran near Manali. These hot springs are formed when the tectonic plates collided to form the Himalayas. The friction between them as they collided heated up the groundwater, which eventually gushed up and even today continues to come out with all trace minerals in it. In most places, it is sulfur that is the major component, giving an odd rotten egg smell, as in the one you will find in this hot spring. If you travel to Himachal on the Manali side, the change of landscape from thick forest to almost barren grasslands take about 200 kilometers as you travel from Manali to Jispa. But here in the Garhwal Himalayas in Uttarakhand, the landscape shift is so drastic that you see the landscape change from a thick forest to nothing but a desert less than 30 kilometers. The 65 kilometers from Joshimath that leads to Malari is nothing short of breathtaking. Pinnacles, gorges, grassy hills, granite cliffs. Name a mountain landscape, you can find it in the 65 kilometers, and not to mention the 6,000ers flanking the valley in all directions. See, and for the valley itself, it looks like a relic from 100 years back in time. You will see amazingly carved wooden pillars, slate roof houses. Lately, there are concrete structures coming up, but still a majority of them are about a century old. And if you go there during monsoon, you'll see the Barren mountains flanked with green fields, something that we don't see in most places. Nested at an altitude of about 3,000 meters, Malari is accessible only between May to October before winter creeps in. You don't need permits to get into Malari, yet you will have to make an entry at the army checkpost a few kilometers before the actual village. There are not many options to stay in Malari, as it still is a remote hamlet. Luckily, the mainstream crowd hasn't reached it yet. There is this one modest hotel though in Malari. It's got fairly clean rooms and, more importantly, a power supply and a geyser in every room. If you're planning on staying a night, which I would highly recommend to comprehend the beauty of the village and the mountains around, this is your only option. Alternatively, you can start early from Joshimath and get back to Joshimath after visiting Malari by late evening. It's only 120 odd kilometers, but it is going to take a long time than you anticipate, because the road conditions are not ideal as of now, as BRO is in the process of widening them. Malari is only the gateway. Ghamshali and Niti are coming up. Thanks for watching this one. See you next week in Ghamshali. Until then, travel more, travel safe. See you, buddy.